So the iPad mini 7 is one of my favorite products that I've ever owned, and it's also the one that I probably should have never bought. Also, Casper says hi. It's tiny, it's mini, it's powerful, it looks sick, and I absolutely love the idea of it. But after living with it for about a year now, the honest truth is that it just might not be for me, and this video is to tell you why and how I came to that conclusion. Also, if you're still toying with the idea of getting this and you don't know which side of the fence you're on, I hope this can help you out as well. If you're new here, I'm Jesse, this is Lives in Tech, and I spend money so you don't have to. I've made a lot of videos on this iPad mini already, from comparisons to reviews to just general purpose real life usage, and you guys seem to really love this thing. So today is kind of my closure video. I want to talk about the iPad mini does well, where its drawbacks are, and where I stand on what I think of this device. Now, bear with me here because I want to go about this like a story, because the iPad mini's journey with me was literally a story. When I first got this iPad mini, it felt very Apple-like and very perfect and like the ideal state of an iPad, whatever that means. It's stupidly small and light. You could palm it basically with one hand, and it's just really fun to use. Like, when I think of future tech, this in its super slim form factor is kind of what I think of. In my head, this was about to be my literal take everywhere, do everything device, from writing scripts to playing games to reading if I ever decide to pick up that hobby again, and just literally taking it everywhere. Then the next phase of my journey was trying to figure out how I can incorporate this into every single aspect of my life and basically replace all the things. I grabbed this little foldable keyboard, which by the way is weirdly fun to type on. I propped up the mini behind it and convinced myself that I was like entering my minimalist vibe era with those two things. And for light stuff, it kind of worked. I mean, the aspect ratio of the iPad, while a bit weird, does work really well for general productivity stuff like reading or writing or, typing up emails or looking at articles, all of that typical web browsy stuff. It could also fit into literally any bag, any sling, any pocket. Like, this thing can basically go everywhere with you. That was also the inspiration behind that thumbnail I did where the iPad is in my pocket, which I thought was pretty cool. It really did feel like a device that you could just bring wherever, but I never stuck with it. The second work got even slightly more serious. Multiple references, research, notes, plus a browser, plus YouTube going on, my typical chaotic workflow. It just did not work. Also, side note, but what's really frustrating about iPads, not just this one, but any of them overall, multiple audio outputs are still not a thing, meaning that I can't play music and watch a YouTube video at the same time, which, while pretty niche, surprisingly is what I want to do almost all the time. Anyway, my issue was every time I want to do real work on this that wasn't just your typical web browsing or reading or writing, there was just a better tool for the job that wasn't this one. I had my MacBook at my disposal, I had my phone at my disposal, and sometimes those are just easier or more convenient to use at times. Cherry on top is that iPadOS is still not where it needs to be yet. And yes, it's gotten better over the years, but there is still a huge opportunity for Apple here that I think they are just not fully tackling and making the full potential of these devices. So fine, it's not gonna be my work machine, and honestly, that's fine. I mean, it's not meant to be your primary work device anyway. So maybe it's gonna be my content device and like my fun entertainment thing. Let's start off with if you're a reader. If you're a reader, this is probably the best device you could use if you don't like using Kindles or the e-ink displays. It's basically an all-powerful Kindle. Reading books, articles, newsletters, PDFs, scrolling through Reddit, all of these things are really, really fun to do on this device, and it just feels like you're using a really big phone, which is kind of perfect for those use cases. You can hold it forever, it doesn't feel heavy, and the size just makes text on the screen just look really natural. Where it starts to fall apart for me though is video. Almost everything I watch is 16:9 or 16:10, and that aspect ratio on this iPad mini's, I believe close to 4:3 display, just kind of suck. You either live with huge black bars on the top and the bottom, or you can zoom in and it zooms in way too much on the iPad and crop off basically majority of the frame. On an already small screen, both of those options are not ideal. It's not that you can't watch content on here. I'm sure you could. I mean, I've done it a million times. Maybe not a million, that's kind of exaggerating. But every time I watch a YouTube video or started a show on the mini, I always felt like there was a ton of wasted potential with the screen and that I wasn't getting the full amount of screen that I should be getting. So again, not unusable by any means, but again, not my first choice, which is sort of becoming a theme here. Now I'm gonna pivot because I've been kind of dragging the mini a lot, and I don't want this video to be about me dragging the mini the entire time because I still think this is a great device and I wanna explain why. There are two groups that I think this device absolutely nails. Number one is readers, and I explained that already. If you love reading, the mini is probably the best iPad you possibly could buy, and probably the only iPad that feels comfortable to hold for long periods of time and doesn't feel like you're kind of holding a tiny, tiny thin brick. It's not about the weight, it's about kind of the leverage, and holding an iPad mini from the corner feels way different than holding an iPad Pro from the corner with the bigger screen size. The second category of people that would love this is mobile gamers. And I haven't talked about gaming yet because gaming was sort of a niche use case for me for this, but I grew to love it a ton on this device. Playing games like COD Mobile or Genshin Impact or any games really that make the use of an iPad screen and work on iPad look pretty much stunning on this thing. The touch controls on this actually make sense rather than a phone where it takes up pretty much half the screen. The screen size isn't so big that it feels awkward holding it like right in front of your face. And you just have way more usage of space compared to a phone. And the alternative of using this versus a phone is night and day different if you enjoy mobile gaming. So if your brain is like, I want a small dedicated little slab of aluminum that can, watch videos and play games and type up emails and read, this is probably the best thing you're ever gonna get. Now, the last role I don't fully understand, and I'm hoping someone can enlighten me in the comments. Pilots seem to really like this device as well, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think there's some pilot software that works on this, and this can like fit in the cockpit or something. I have no idea. Any pilots that watch this video, if any, let me know why this iPad works for you in the comments below. So after living with this thing for a year, I wanna do a quick pros and cons lightning round just to get the idea across on what I like and what I don't like with this iPad. First, the stuff I genuinely love about the iPad mini 7. The size and weight, since it disappears in a bag or maybe even some pretty large pockets. The Apple Pencil snapping to the side, I think just looks really cohesive, and the Apple Pencil with this device, I didn't speak about it much, but does work extremely well. The gaming comfort, which when compared to a phone is again night and day different. And reading, if you are a reader, this is the best iPad you can get for reading, hands down. But now let's talk about the opposite of things that keep me from using it more. And the first thing up is something I didn't talk about yet, and it's the display / the 60 hertz. Once you see 120 hertz on the new iPhone, even the base model or the MacBook or the iPad Pro, it's really hard to go back to 60 hertz, especially on a device that is very much touch first. The screen size is too small for the work that I do. Doesn't mean it's too small for the work that you do, but the content and the things that I'm doing on here, it could just use a little bit more space. Video watching feels compromised, which ends up being 90% of my iPad usage anyway. And again, on the aspect of iPad OS, there is something missing here when it comes to the OS, and I wish Apple could just nail it down and get iPad OS to a true near desktop-like experience. The general theme is that the iPad mini is not bad. It is a great device, but it's just never the right tool for the job for the things that I need it for. For actual work, the MacBook wins. For serious tablet stuff, whatever that even means, there are better iPads that could do more than this one. For quick, always with me, answering emails, things like that, my phone is literally always in my pocket. The Mini is this really beautiful device that no matter how much I want to use it, there is always something better that I could use instead of this that just makes this hard to pick up. And here's the best part. After everything I just said of kind of dragging this Mini a little bit, I'm still keeping it. Partly because Apple takes like a full presidential term to release a new iPad mini, and I just love seeing the latest and greatest for this form factor. But also because every time I think about selling it, I think about all of the niche use cases that this thing can do, and it just makes me want to keep using it. It's a device that I grab when I'm home, don't want to be on my phone, or get sick of my other devices, and doesn't feel like it is meant for anything professional. And if I'm honest, I just like it. I love that Apple makes something this small and innovative and overpowered, and I want them to keep innovating on this form factor, and I'm excited what comes out in the future for this device. So if you watch this whole video and you want a quick TLDR, or TLDW in that matter, the iPad mini 7 is a great device. It is just not for me. Again, if you read a ton, play a lot of games, don't really care about the aspect ratio, and just want a small compact device to bring with you anywhere, you kind of already know you want an iPad mini, and the iPad mini is an excellent device, hands down. If you were to come to me and say that this is gonna be your only computer, well, there are better options that you should probably look at before committing to using this as your main device. So yeah, that's where I've ended up with the iPad mini 7. I'm definitely gonna keep it. It's gonna be part of my kit for a while. Hopefully the next iteration comes out and it's a whole lot better with ProMotion and all these other fun things, or iPad OS gets a huge update, but these are all things that need to happen to bring this up to a level where I think it could be at. If you already have an iPad mini, let me know what you use it for and what your workflow is, because I'm always trying to learn new things to do with this thing that I just might not know about. And if you love iPad content, I'm gonna be making a lot more iPad content in the future with the iPad mini, the iPad Pro, and also new things coming out. So please go ahead, subscribe, stay tuned. There will be more things coming out in the future. I'm Jesse, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.